I'm Emma Butterworth,
And I'm Joe Mulaney.
and on today's broadcast, we will be touching on the winter fuel crisis, getting into the Christmas spirit with the Nelson Winter Fair, and lighting up your screens with the River of Light.
But first, today's headlines. Syrian rebels burned the tomb of Bashar al-Assad's father after the group overthrew the Syrian government on Sunday, the 8th of December.
Farmers have blocked dual carriageways with their tractors across Essex and Suffolk to protest the changes to inheritance tax.
Trains between Rochdale and Manchester Victoria have stopped running due to an emergency incident in Mills Hill. Live updates will follow soon.
And Manchester saw a fall in the number of rough sleepers from 148 recorded in October 2023 to 112 this October, marking a 25% reduction.
But first, our reporter Emma Butterworth explores how the government's decision to cut the winter fuel allowance has affected people across Greater Manchester.
Period closes in and the year comes to an end, people in Manchester are certainly feeling the cold. When snow hit the city in November, Labour MPs warned that up to 100,000 pensioners could be pushed into poverty this winter due to cuts to the winter fuel allowance payments, a topic that has been wildly controversial since the government's announcement in the summer. Manchester City Council are just one of the many councils across the UK who are having to provide more support in the winter months, beginning the new winter fuel hardship scheme to provide nearly 5,000 households with payments for energy, fuel and essentials. The payments, which range from £150 to £200, are being given to pensioners who have not qualified for winter fuel allowance under the government's new guidelines. I spoke to Manchester Greens councillor Astrid Johnson about what the council are doing to help those in need during the colder months.
The 100,000 pensioners in the UK who are hit by this, these are the really poor and deprived people. For that reason, the Green Party saw that coming in the summer, that this will be revealed. And now the cold season started, since a few days it's really cold. So this is happening now to pensioners, that they are freezing in their homes, and it's untenable. From my own experience as a councillor, knocking on people's doors in Manchester, in the ward I represent, this comes up on the doorstep. There is a real fear. And it is because these people, they're on the breadline. They can hardly afford food. The disposable income of Woodhouse Park residents, for example, is minimal, of about 60% of people there. Poverty levels are really high. So it is a real issue. So apart from the Winter Hardship Fund, they made extra money available exactly for those people who miss out. Because the problem is not just the people who are, where the pension credit is applicable. It is often the people who are just on the margin, just a little bit above that threshold, and who are already struggling, and then to have to pay increasing fuel costs, it is really difficult for them. So kudos to Labour, to Council in Manchester, to actually give a little bit extra. But overall, the councils have been really strapped of cash in the last 14 years during the Tory government. So Labour has big plans, but it hasn't trickled down to this winter, and it is now that they need help.
The council has also teamed up with Warm Welcome Spaces to ensure every library in Manchester has a free, safe place where residents can come and have a hot drink and stay warm during
the financial help. Of course, the city prepares for the winter, and libraries like we're sitting here in the Central Library and the library in Woodhouse Park, the ward I represent, gives warm winter spaces. But, look, we are the sixth richest nation in the world, and this is how we treat people. They can't stay at home because they freeze. And this is literally stories I hear where people, we advise them, just heat one room, have thick blankets. But this is not a way to live for people. We shouldn't live like that.
With over 4,000 warm welcome spaces across the UK, people can visit any centre free of charge to socialise with others and take part in community activities. I visited one centre in Bolton to see just how important places like this are for those struggling over the winter.
So, Warm Welcome is a campaign that has over 4,500 spaces across the country. And our three priorities is that it's warm, it's welcoming, and it's free. And it's basically just connecting spaces across the community, whether it's a community centre, a church, a football club, a mosque, and just showing the community that it's a space that's free for them to go to. We kind of give people the option to offer a range of different kind of services and activities, and it's really their choice of how they want to connect with the community. The aim is to have for everyone to have a warm welcome space within a 30-minute walk from them, so that they have somewhere free and warm to access in the winter months.
Slaterfield Community Centre is just one of these spaces welcoming others with a jam-packed schedule of crafts and activities for anyone to take part in. With the women's craft session on a Monday morning, the hub has given these ladies a place to socialise with each other and help the community, knitting hats for premature babies and sensory toys for dementia patients. One lady told me that places like this are vital during this time of year, as it helps them combat loneliness in a warm environment. This was Emma Butterworth for Mancunian.
Well, that was a really powerful story. What did you learn from Laser Community Centre?
Well, one of them, I mentioned at the end of the video, one of them said something the reason why she does is that community centre in particular is to stay warm. And I think it's very important, especially in the summer, people can meet up and go on walks and outside activities, but in the winter, you're quite limited. So I think having places like that is so important.
So, how important is it to have these warm welcome spaces in community?
I think it's nearly 5,000 that there are across the country. I think it's great, not even just for pensioners affected by the cuts, but for all types of people. You know, everyone talks about the heating crisis, but loneliness is a big issue.
And why did you choose this story to report on?
Well, at the end of summer when the cuts were announced, it was a massive story. So I thought it was quite important to do an update on that, see how people are coping, and at the same time, I thought it was really interesting for people in Manchester to see what they can do to get help.
If you know anyone who's been affected by this cut, please get in touch with us to share your story at nwlive@gmail.com.
Now we cross to Liverpool, where our reporter Millie Harrison has taken a look at the installations lighting up the River Mersey.
Takes place along Liverpool's waterfront. It is an illuminated outdoor gallery which includes a loop of light and sound installations from local, national and even international artists.
And this year I went to check it out.
I'm here in the city of Liverpool for the annual River of Light Festival. There is a different theme for the event each year, and this time the lights were inspired by the concept of play. Some installations transform Liverpool's waterfront into a vibrant playground, while others provoke deeper reflections on the significance of play. First installation was called Checkmate, and it was by Amigo and Amigo. This was one of 3 of their installations this year. Chess is seen as a timeless symbol of strategic play, and this artist took inspiration from the 20th century Bauhaus movement, which was a pivotal era where art and design converged, shaping modern aesthetics.
Up next was Firefly Field by
Studio Tower.
The idea behind this light installation was to create a dynamic light scene that triggers visitors' curiosity and awe. The unique dynamic composition gave each firefly its unpredictable and natural movement.
The next installation was more interactive. This was a seesaw called Impulse by Lateral Office and CS Design. This piece was a multi-sensory experience, really capturing childhood play. Then it was on to the Piano Walk, once again by Amigo and Amigo. This installation featured 40 interactive keys and piano hammers that strike the strings. Embrace the spirit of musical exploration like the artist wanted us to do. I invited myself to jump on the oversized piano and become part of the performance. This one was one of my absolute favourites, and it was called Bubblesque by Atelia Sissou. Left alone, the bubbles just floated, but when touched, the bubbles danced with colour, each cycling through. The idea behind this one was to create a mesmerising illusion of water flowing into a Battle 3 by Veni Vidi Multiplex. This one celebrated the joy of cycling. The installation featured 2 interactive arches of light and 6 bicycles. From opposite sides, the participants had to hop on and pedal as fast as they could, with the speed of their cycling causing the lights to intensify in colour. This one was called Positive Spin by Liz Harry and was inspired by a love of summers spent at the beachfront arcades. The aim of this one was to share the importance of looking forward positively. There were 3 buttons that, when pressed simultaneously, you received a random fortune. Up next was the Rangoli Mirrored Cosmos by Murugia. This piece was a tall fiberglass sculpture with a reflective internal face. The idea behind this one was a sculpture to celebrate Diwali. Another one of my favourites was Lapse by Olivier Landreville. Lapse is a modern take on the traditional hourglass that gives us the opportunity to literally take control of time. The idea behind this piece was to encourage the public in either one direction or the other. One of the last ones was Bunch of Tulips by Koros Designs. Koros Design Studio wanted to recreate a bouquet of tulips on a grand scale, embodying elements of pop art. This was a playful take on a historical and widely recognised symbol. And finally was No Place Like Gnome, which was once again by Amigo and Amigo. Each gnome transforms into a charming companion for a photographic exploration of iconic landmarks and hidden treasures. Every gnome carried its own distinctive character and narrative. Whilst at the event, I spoke to some students and asked them what they thought of the River of Light Festival.
As a creative arts student, the River of Light gave great ideas and stimuli for future projects.
I do uni in Liverpool, and I think this is like a really fun experience for everyone. It's good that it's in the half term, and it's just like, it's really nice this year because it's like interactive, so like you're not just bored looking at the lights, but you won't be bored anyway because like there's loads to do, and it's
Light Festival, but it will be back next year with even more fun and interactive light features. This year's theme of play will be hard to beat, but there's always something for everyone, no matter the brief. The lights will now be replaced with Liverpool's Christmas lights to end the year with
Video. What was your favourite light installation?
I love them all. Burlesque was really pretty, and so were the tulips. But I think definitely for me it would have been No Place Like Gnome because it did actually remind me of being home. My mum loved haunts and gnomes, and it was just really sweet, and I just loved it.
Would you go back next year?
100%. This isn't the first year I've been before because I really enjoy it. I think it's really pretty, and you get to see a lot of the city while you're walking around and looking for them all as well. So it's just like a really enjoyable experience.
Do you think it's worth going to?
Oh, 100%. So the theme this year, like I said, was play. And it just fits so well with for so many different age categories. Like children, there were seesaws and piano walks, but for older people, there was like the firefly walk and things like that. It's just suitable for everyone. It was really, really lovely.
Brilliant, thank you, Millie. Next, our reporter Jo Mulhaney speaks to university students in Manchester using their free time to start side projects.
The Wi-Fi is going a bit shit, but it's not going to refresh.
According to Save the Students 2024 National Student Money Survey, 30% of undergraduates are working a side hustle alongside their academic commitments. Accommodation provider Fresh, who analysed companies' house data, found that a total of 4,093 businesses were registered by students in 2022, with the majority of those in the 18 to 25 age bracket. So with this in mind, I decided to speak to 3 students who have all decided to invest their time into side projects that they all love. From a trading community to an indie rock band to a music event company, these students have been turning their passions into projects.
Arjun Ray is a 21-year-old trader from London. He started his original project, YouTube channel Arjun Trades, in his first year of university. He now has 3,600 subscribers, and it is now morphed into an interactive trading community, where he speaks to people about trading and shows students the ropes. I thought I'd ask him why he originally decided to create the channel.
I decided to start a YouTube channel just documenting whatever I'm learning in regards to trading. If I'm learning anything which I find is valuable, if I'm feeling some emotions of losing money, gaining money, which I feel like I could look back on in the future, or something which could just be helpful on YouTube.
I asked how he found the time to do it and if it was an easy decision to focus a lot of his free hours on it.
I've definitely not gone out as much as I could have. But then that's I just have to choose between going out or focusing on this side project or business. And it wasn't easy, but I just had to put in the work and get through it.
21-year-old Nathan Baggett is a member of indie rock band The Wares. Alongside friends Ted Bryant, Josh Brook and Jake Collins, they formed whilst at college. They have seen a steady rise since 2022, with this year selling out and headlining the Deaf Institute. He told me he was fortunate that his degree in music and sound design goes hand in hand with The Wares.
Nearer towards deadlines, I'll have to prioritise sort of finishing uni work. But yeah, there's never been sort of issues with clashes or anything like that, because most of it is, like I say, just I'm using what I've learned at uni basically to help the band.
Bass Drums is an event company based in Manchester. Co-founded by 21-year-old Charlotte Barber, Ed Bailey, Luke Hollings and Ryan Douglas, they've held different nights across the city. Charlotte described it as a fun night where people can enjoy the music without having an identity crisis. I wanted to know how they like to use Bass Drums as a platform.
A young creative or someone starting out and you want to come and test out your skill on our night, be our guest, because that's what we're doing at the very core of it. We're just all testing out our music, we're testing out our skills and just trying to have a laugh and fun whilst we do it.
As a student co-running a small events company, I asked Charlotte if she had any ideas on how universities could help facilitate more student businesses.
I know that the uni does do grants in other areas, so I don't know whether there'd be an option potentially to go on a little bit of you could do an additional course that was something along them lines, and at the end you could get a grant, and if the university was able to facilitate anything like that, then that would be amazing.
Finally, I asked each of them what advice they give to other uni students who want to start their own side projects, and here is what they said.
Just go for it, really. Don't be afraid. Don't sort of be put off because you think you have to spend all your time doing uni work, because you definitely don't. At the end of the day, you need a life outside of just doing uni work.
Do it, because you would regret not doing it, definitely. The getting started is the most nerve-wracking because you feel so unprofessional, and you obviously you have that stigma of, oh, you are just a student, and sometimes people or places won't take you seriously, but just to kind of shake off that stigma and just do it anyway.
I would say start the business, YouTube channel or whatever, and just have fun with it, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, and see where it gets you. But I'll say, the main takeaway would be just enjoy it.
I've been Joe Mulhaney for Northwest Live in Manchester.
Great story, Joe. Now tell me, how important is it for you as students to have side projects?
I think it's very important because obviously students have a lot of free time. So they need to do with that free time whatever they want. But I think having something that they can invest the time in, a project that they can create and enjoy and love, put a lot of effort into, is great for not just the personal development, but also for the careers in the future.
How can universities help students with these side projects?
Well, I had a lot of great answers, but I'd say that Charlotte's answer was probably the best. I think the idea of having a course which allows you to do different kinds of sessions, which will work up to a grant for the uni to give you to start your business would be perfect. I think it means that a lot more students may not have the resources to do it, can do it. I think it's really important.
Do you feel inspired by side projects?
I do. I think they're all very inspiring and they're clearly all very driven with what they want to do. They've got a real focus on where they want their projects to go. I think we're going to see a lot of great side projects turn into careers in the future.
Thank you, Joe. If there are any students out there with interesting side hustles, please send it over to nwlive@gmail.com.
Over in Lancashire, our correspondent Live Chowdhury visited the Nelson Winter Fair, which promotes small businesses in the area.
Come with me to Nelson in Lancashire for the Nelson Winter Fairs and Christmas Light Switch On. This Christmas, Nelson Town Council hosted a fair to celebrate the beginning of the festive period and the switching of the Christmas lights, which included stalls of small businesses, live performances, and a firework display. Due to weather conditions, the event had to be moved inside the shopping centre, but this didn't deter people from visiting as the turnout was still amazing. The market was also a perfect opportunity for local small businesses to get out there and promote their businesses. And with Nelson being such a small town, it was an amazing opportunity for the town to get together and celebrate this festive period. I spoke to one of the volunteers at the event to talk about why it's such an important event for a town like Nelson.
This event is Nelson Christmas Light Switch On. It's an event for all the community to come together and enjoy in the festive fun ahead of Christmas. It just brings all the community together, it gives them things to do, there's entertainment, there's food stalls, craft stalls, and it's just something for everyone to come together and have a good time. Yes, there's fireworks, there's been live singers, there's been dancers, there's been food stalls, there's been a brass band, there's been drink stalls, there's been a bit of everything really.
The event took place all afternoon with a packed schedule full of live performances, music, live band, children's entertainments, and much more. The rain definitely didn't deter people from gathering outside to watch the live music and walk through near Nelson Town Hall to see all of the food vendors available that had travelled from all over just for today's event. As you got closer to the library, there were also rides for children entertainment, and in the shopping mall there were different activities children could partake in, and it was definitely a family-friendly event.
So what was today's event for? Today's event was the light switch on and a fair where they're going to have activities for kids. We'll have fireworks later on once the lights have been turned on. There'll be lots of activities to do, lots of food stalls, lots of things to do for the community. Okay.
And why is it important for the community?
I think it brings people together and it's good for everyone to see each other, especially after COVID. It's good to be out and about around. And it's good to try new foods from around, and it's something for kids to do, I guess. It helps them and it boosts their business. It helps them make new customers, people to try them out, and it helps them make money. There's going to be live performances, we have a live band, and it's going to be fun. Cool.
Towards the end of the event, decorations were put up and ready to be lit all around town. This included the Christmas tree outside Nelson Library, the lights near the town hall, the tree near Briarfield Library, and also many other lights scattered all around the town. And finally, the event ended with a large firework display, lighting up the whole town and leaving everybody in a festive mood, ready for Christmas. For more information and a heads up on any incoming events, you can head to the Nelson Town Council Facebook page, where they are always posting updates on any events coming up in the town, and it's a perfect way to engage with your local community.
Wow, but that looked like a really lovely fair. What was the most interesting stall that you found there?
So I saw a man who was making Christmas ornaments out of paper, like origami, and he was making them on the stall so people could watch, and it was quite interesting to see all the designs.
And how helpful do you think it was for local businesses in the area?
I think it was a great opportunity for small businesses because it was targeted to people in their 20s, new businesses. And I think it was great for them to expand their clientele and get out there and make a name for themselves.
And why do you think that these events are important for those smaller communities?
Well, with Nelson being such a small town, it's great to see how strong that community is, because even though there was hard weather conditions, so many people still turned up, and the atmosphere was great. You know, you would think it was in Manchester, so it's great to see how strong the community is, and I think these events are good for little towns to keep their community that strong.
That's amazing. Now, to wrap up, our reporter Poppy Dicknell took a trip down to Planet Ice in Altrincham for the ice hockey decision the Bear, which took place during the Manchester Storm versus Fife Flyers game.
was Air the Bear, a hockey tradition where fans throw stuffed toys when the home team score their first goal of the game. Elite Hockey League team Manchester Storm won 4-2 against the Fife Flyers at the Storm Shelter, aka Planet Ice, Altrincham, on Saturday the 7th of December. The tradition usually occurs during the Christmas period. Once thrown onto the ice, the toys are collected and donated to the Mission Christmas charity and their Cash for Kids campaign. In addition to Air the Bear, it was the team's annual Skate with the Storm night, where fans got to skate side by side with their favourite player after the game had finished. Thanks to an encouraging crowd, their win placed them 9th in the league. I spoke to the Storm's Tyler Rockwell about his first Air the Bear in Manchester.
Oh, it's great. That was our first home game win in a while. It's really good to give the fans something to cheer about. Everyone pulled their weight tonight, so it was just a good win all around. Yeah, it's always a great feeling. You know, everyone's saying they want to score that goal to get all the teddy bears on the ice, and when it does happen, especially with a good crowd tonight, it's just an awesome feeling. Gets the fans right into it, and it goes to a good cause too, so it's a win-win. It feels great. I mean, it's good. It's a little bit of pressure, you know, because everyone's waiting for that first goal, and then all the teddy bears come on, but once you get it, then we're rolling.
The Elite Ice Hockey League runs from September to April each year and consists of 10 UK teams. Although the sport has a long way to go compared to the US, last season saw over 1.1 million fans attend the Elite League games.
Yeah, there's a bit of a difference. It's really established over there. Here, it's definitely growing, and there's going to be some more really good UK hockey players up and coming, so that's going to help a lot with, you know, the hockey culture here. But going around, I've been to 4 rinks, and there's chanting all through the game. Even the Fife fans came down, and they were awesome. So there's a lot of support for each team. So I can just see it growing more and more. I actually just got here like 2 weeks ago, so all the guys have been very welcoming to me, and they try to get me right into the system right away, so we're just off to the races right now. After this win, I think we'll start rolling here and get some confidence.
Manchester Storm were originally formed in 1995 and later reformed in 2015. In their 3rd season since reforming, they placed 2nd in the Elite Hockey League. Last season, the Storm placed 4th, only 10 points below the Belfast Giants. Their next game will be against the Nottingham Panthers Friday the 13th of December on home ice.
Well, I'm from the United States, so I played college hockey there, and then I always wanted to go over to Europe to play, so I was in France last year, now I'm in the UK here. This is a great league. It's getting better every year, and the hockey's really good. There's some great players out here, so I'm just happy to be a part of it. Just try to be on the ice as much as you can, and you also just have to love it, because you do something every day. You might be good at it if you don't love it, but you'll never be great.
I'm Poppy Dipnall, reporting for Mancunian Matters.
Well, Poppy, that seemed like a great event. How was the atmosphere in Planet Ice?
Oh, it was electric, honestly. Since we've had Air the Bear and the Skate with the Storm after the game, the crowd they were full of anticipation for that first home goal, and when it happened, it was amazing to watch.
And just for the viewers at home, what is Air the Bear?
So it's a hockey tradition that usually happens around Christmas time. It's where the fans get to bring in the stuffed animals or teddies, and they get to throw them on the ice when the first home goal happens. And once that's happened, they collect them, and donate them to Mission Christmas for their Cash for Kids campaign.
Brilliant. So when is the next home game so people can come down and support the team?
I would definitely recommend going to watch ice hockey for your first time. I had a blast. The next home game is the 13th of December against the Mancunian Matters.
Now, onto the weather with Millie Harrison.
I'm Millie Harrison with your weather report. Today we will be experiencing highs of 5 degrees, but towards the evening that temperature will be dropping to the minuses, with some cold and brisk winds throughout the night.
For the rest of the week, the northwest will be facing a spell of wet weather as usual, which will carry on through to the weekend. And that concludes today's weather report. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you for watching Northwest Live. We hope this show brightened up your day. See you next time.